Hey, what's up, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? Um, Today is Monday. It's the February 27th, and the 4 a.m. session will be, resuming as I promised. I think this is the last week of the 4 a.m. session actually being, um, in February, whatever. Um, but yeah, man. How y'all doing today? Hope y'all doing pretty good. Um, as you know, the title of this is called The Audition. And it was inspired by two young students. Two young students. One student who I've seen who applied for the Baltimore School of the Arts. I gave them words of encouragement. Their pops was talking to me about them, being inspired, and I shared my story with this young individual about when I applied for the Baltimore School of the Arts, and I just got a message from my friend Christine, who told me that her son was just accepted to the Baltimore School of the Arts, and she thanked me for just being an inspiration, and I was just like, nah, that's all you. You know what I mean? I've only was able to, share my story, um, you know, but I want to chime in on why I called this session the audition. And when I had the opportunity to share my story with one of the kids, when I was a teenager, I was still in middle school, and I remember I applied to go to the Baltimore School of the Arts because as to be an actor. I've always, as a kid, that was my childhood dream, was to become an actor. Um, as a kid, me and my siblings, my twin sister and my older sister, we all loved In Living Color. So In Living Color definitely was on the television, definitely was on the tube. And one of my favorite actors from In Living Color was Jim Carrey. And I remember my mother knew that I took a liking to Jim Carrey. I used to, B5 Marshall Bill, like all his characters, I used to emulate. So I remember when E2 Hollywood Stories, it was a series, they had initially had they did a story on Jim Carrey, and I remember my mother, she made us watch it, and I was like, why is she making us watch this or whatever, right? But in the segment, they had highlighted Jim Carrey's upbringing, and it talked about how he grew up in poverty, and he struggled. And then right then and there, I knew why my mother decided why she wanted us to watch that, because we grew up in similar conditions. Growing up in East Baltimore, single parent home. We've had some rough patches in our early life. So fast forward to because to going to middle school, even the teachers in the school and the staff members, they took support of what I wanted to do. And I remember I won a certificate for future actor. Shout out to Mr. Russ too. Shout out to my teachers that still stay connected with me via Facebook. But I always, and my uncle, God rest his soul, he always was like, you're an actor, because I would always like get into character and not break out that character. But so and I also used to annoy my sisters, my twin sister and my older sister, and I used to do that with my mom as well. So when I was about to graduate middle school, my mother and my sisters, it was like, yo, what school you going to? You know what I'm saying? What high school you going to? So my sister, I had one of mine. She wanted to go to St. Francis because she was pursuing her basketball career. Her basketball, her talents and gifts in that area. And me, I was like, okay, I'm gonna tap into the Baltimore School of the Arts. So I applied to go to the Baltimore School of the Arts. My sister had helped me with my monologue, and I memorized a few of the lines, and the big day came, right? So when I went to the BSA, wait a minute, my connection. Let's see here. My apologies. Let's do this connection. So when I went to the BSA, went there and I definitely went at it the best way I could. And I remember my apologies, y'all, I'm having some connection issues. But I remember at the audition, and it ran through real quick. You know what I mean? And I didn't. They said, hey, you know what? We're not able to accept you at this time, but they said you can shadow. And I don't know what the main reason was as to why, you know, they really decided not to pursue with me getting in. My guess is because the monologue was short, it didn't have the requirements, so on and so forth, or either I just probably was nervous. It could have been a host of many other things. But I remember when I shadowed, because they said, you know, you can come back again. And I was in an auditorium, and I was looking at the kids that were there, that went to the school, and, you know, I didn't feel any of them looked like me, you know. I mean, what I mean by that is none of them seemed like they came from my background, you know, even the kids that, seems as though as they were cool because they, you know, kind of greeted me. They were like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? And one of them did splits. I just felt uncomfortable, so I decided not to go. But I was sharing with, you know, the young two students. I said, yo, if you ever feel that way, don't feel discouraged. You know, because if I can rewind back time, I would have still went to the Baltimore School of the Arts. You know, it's not, when you go into these environments, you know what I mean, nobody is supposed to look like you. Nobody is supposed to, you know, to make you feel comfortable, because, you know, when you are uncomfortable, it encourages growth. So as I, you know, was encouraged, well, I was discouraged not going to the Baltimore School of the Arts for acting. You know, I decided to go to my older sister school, my older sister Kara. I decided to go to her school, which was Northern. I kind of went to Lake, but I wanted to go to Northern, and went to Northern, and because I didn't want to, you know, be by myself. And it's funny because my sister was only there for about a year, and she graduated, so I still ended up being by myself. But it was in me going to Northern that I adopted the want and the I'm gonna say the skills of teaching myself how to design. Because if you listen to a few episodes back, I talked about how, you know, when I met my cousin Jazz, which I didn't know was my cousin at the time, you know, I've seen what he had wore when he wore the baseball patch jeans, and that's what created that spark with me wanting to create. So it still worked out, and needless to say, I didn't know that I was going to be getting into filmmaking when I was in Northern. I've always wanted to do film. I remember even when I didn't get accepted to Baltimore School of the Arts, I had a journal that I would write a whole script in. I wrote a whole movie, and all I wanted was a camera. And by the time I got the camera, I didn't make that movie. I should have, but you know. But yeah, acting. Yeah, it's just as anything. It's a skill. It's a craft. It's a gift. And I mean, you know, hey, you never know. I may be in a film one day. You know what I mean? I mean, look at actors that break out. Like you got the greats of Samuel L. Jackson, Morgan Freeman, you know, Viola Davis. It's never too late. So I always look at that as a factor. But you know, I encourage anyone today to, you know, pursue, or any young kid that's looking at this, to pursue what you innately have inside of you. You know, because you don't want to live with regrets. You don't want to wish if you would have, you know, pushed further what would have happened. But as I got older, I've accepted that, you know, all things happen for a reason, and all things work together for the good. You know, and I'm grateful for what God has done otherwise. And if I do want to tap into it at any given moment, I can. But I wouldn't change anything. You know, would I have tried harder? Maybe. But who's to say that I was equipped at that time to do so, you know? So Because had I would have probably went to the Baltimore School of the Arts, I probably would have never had met my cousin Jazz. It's a lot of things that have transpired with me actually going the path that I did go. So yeah, but that's my take on the audition. My apologies for these connection issues. That kind of like disrupted my flow a little bit, but I'll leave you guys with this. Learn from yesterday, live for today, and hope for tomorrow. Again, that's learn from yesterday, live for today, and hope for tomorrow. I hope that encourages anybody who sees this. Thank y'all for tapping in. Like I said, the month of March is going to be, it's a lot of things picking up. So I might have to scale back from these. I might do maybe once or twice a week. We'll see. But thank you all for who tapped in. I see there's 2 people on here. Thank y'all for waking up with me. And actually looking at the notifications, even if you're halfway asleep. Hey, I'm just glad you're here with me. All right. But anyway, more giveaways coming out, and it will be more things that I will be sharing soon. Definitely, like, share, subscribe, and much appreciation to all those who have supported and collected my art. If you do want to collect any of my art, visit akioevans.com, and I appreciate your support. And yeah, definitely make it a great day today. All right, peace.